Hi, this is Jeff Oakes. I'm coming to you from the homestead at Oak Grove, and it's my great pleasure to have my son-in-law with me. This is Matthew Spencer. Matthew and his wife Allison and their 3 children, and one on the way, have moved back to the Tri-Cities, and we're so thankful to have them here, especially in the midst of all the turmoil that's been going on, not only in our own country, but throughout the world. And it's been really interesting because the Lord's really done some things in showing Matt just the nature of God's character and His nature, especially in the realm of favor and grace. And so I just wanted to ask you, Matt, maybe you could just share with whoever's watching right now, whether it's in the evening or in the morning, depending on where they're watching it, just some of the things that God's been showing you and talking to you about concerning the favor of God.
Yeah, so I was just getting ready the other morning, and I just had a real picture of a story, and I was just reminded of a story in Exodus 17, and it really showed, it was the picture where Moses was leading the Israelites and the army against the enemy, and it was, everyone knows the story. He was holding up his staff, and whenever he grew weary, his arms would grow weary and they would lower, the Israelites would be losing in the battle. Mm-hmm. And then when he would raise it up, they would begin to win. And so it was interesting to me, a couple things, there was some imagery there that really hit me. And I just thought, when he was there, I could just picture that his hands would have been up. And if you would have been on the battlefield looking up, you could have looked up, and it really could have been a picture of the cross of Jesus Christ, of course. And of course, those stories in the Old Testament all lead to Jesus. And so there's just a powerful imagery there, because also as he grew tired, Aaron and Hur each came to one hand, and it really, to me, represented that you and I are all, on each of those arms of Jesus. We're really the ones that put him on that cross through our fallenness. And so they just kind of touched my heart in that sense as well. But then I picture myself on the battlefield. And it's a little bit what our lives are going through, and in my family, we're really all in a battle, right, in a sense. And so we've had favor through this battle, though. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, where's the Lord taking us? What should we do? And which direction do we go? And I just pictured myself in the army, and as I looked up and perhaps saw Moses across the land a little bit, right? And I could picture, as I kept my eyes upon him, as his arms were outstretched, it just hit my heart. This is Jesus. Mm-hmm. And when his arms were up, it represented the cross. And I realized every time his arms were up, we just started winning. Mm-hmm. And so then I could see how if his arms were lowered, I would think in my flesh, we've got to drive harder. We've got to work harder. And we have to win this battle on our own strength. Mm-hmm. And there was no way they could win. His arms were down, they lost. Yeah. And so then, as his arms were up, and as I, in my own life, thinking, okay, I've got to keep my eyes upon Jesus, I really had an impression, revelation that I can't lose. Yeah. That as long as I keep my eyes upon Jesus, I don't have to drive. I don't have to strive. Now, there is one thing I can't do. I can't quit. Mm-hmm. I really feel like as long as I don't quit, I can't lose. And so it's just really touched me, and I've really felt an extravagant favor upon my life and those around me. But really, it's a word, I think, not just for the season, it's really a life season. Yeah. The favor of God is completely upon us. I really believe we can't lose. It doesn't mean there's not trials, suffering, loss. We've had these things, and those things happen. I'm not diminishing that, of course, but that we do win.
That's right.
And that we do have extreme favor. But I think it's important for us to believe that. Because without actually believing it and even speaking it, Jesus spoke the galaxy into existence through words. Yeah. That when we speak that, it releases it. Yeah. And by speaking it, and I've been speaking to you and those around me, I say, I've got the favor of the Lord on me. And it seems to be releasing more of that. But it's really for all of us. We all have that extreme favor that he is willing and ready, and it is his heart's desire to pour it upon us. It's just time to step into it.
Amen. So that's awesome. Just the passage that he's referring to is actually in Exodus chapter 17. It says, "Now Amalek came and fought with Israel and Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua, choose us some men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. So it was when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands became heavy. So they took a stone and put it under him. And he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. So Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And so we know that the stone, the rock, is Christ himself. And Moses, who is a representative of Christ to us, is also supported, of course, as a servant of God. And what's interesting is that Aaron and Hur were of the tribe of Levi and of the priesthood. And so we, as priests of God, you're a priest, I'm a priest, he's a priest in Christ. We're a holy priesthood. If you're a believer and follower of Jesus, you're a priest. And it's our responsibility, literally, to declare the victory we have in Christ to a generation that if they'll believe, if they'll look and believe, they can experience the favor of God too. So God bless you. Hang in there. Let's keep pressing in and believing for a real breakthrough in the world concerning this virus, and as well as in our lives to be the light and salt Jesus has declared we are. God bless you. God's favor's on you. Bye.